It's your boy,
Dane Piedt.
yes sir,
Dane Piedt.
it's me,
Dane Piedt.
away, enjoy,
Dane Piedt.
yeah.
Dane Piedt.
Hey guys, like I promised you, I've got a very important guest on my show, Rory Kleinveldt. I can tell you without asking him, recently and happily retired from the game of cricket.
Yes.
20 years. Thanks for doing this, my bro. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
But
Are we
before
actually running, or we just going
we're going straight into it. Yeah, that's your type of
A
vibe.
couple of takes first. And
No,
then
we straight into it.
Nice, I like
But
it.
before we get to that, I'd like to thank Mothercity Liquor for the plug, for the amazing
been
Belgian
6
beer.
months since
6
I had
months.
a good beer.
Me
Sure,
too.
lockdown has been
Lockdown's been
bad.
absolutely tough, but thanks to them for making this possible. But thank you for sitting down with me. The most important thing for me is not really to talk about cricket, but unfortunately we will be speaking about a little bit about cricket. You obviously recently retired, happy family, boy, girl, happy wife, and the game of cricket's given you everything really. You started at the age of 18. A lot of people out there know the story, but this game and this ground is obviously an important part of your life.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it started when I was 18. I was probably about 5, born into it really. Both my families, both sides of my families, my mom's and my dad's are heavily involved in cricket, and it was only natural for me to go that way, you know. Starting out at Victoria Cricket Club, 3-4-year-old running around the field with a bat and ball in my hand, you know. And then, fortunate enough to have made a nice career out of it, and seen a lot of places, met a lot of people.
But
made
for
some
you, it
good
was
friends.
never really money. Eh? That
No,
was
not at
like
all.
that. I think for me, coming into the environment in 2000, I remember carrying drinks for you guys where Shooks got me involved. It was a game year where Herschel got 100 against the Dolphins. 2009, I carried drinks, and you were in the dressing room, and obviously the chat that came from you was always the positive about the team, about winning a game and things. And obviously having played for you for such a long time, over 10 years, it was never about the money.
No. No, look, I mean, for me, it was about the glory, you know, winning trophies, playing in front of Newlands when it's packed out and winning a trophy.
And that's why I think
running around the field and celebrating with the fans. And I guess I kind of had the attitude that if I did well, that stuff would take care of itself. So I
And
didn't
that's lost nowadays, eh?
No, it's very much lost. So
And that makes you very frustrated.
it does. It
makes you
does,
very frustrated.
It does. But I guess times change, you know, and people get
That's why you packed it in.
get motivated by different things. So for me, like I said, it was take care of business on the field, and the rest will take care of
Because
itself.
also one thing was friendships were more important than fivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, the memories that we speak about is when in Joburg where we won a game. Just an example, we won a game and we speak about what we did after the game, the fines meetings and going out into a nightclub and enjoying the victory and making sure that you savor this moment because fuck.
You never talk about what happened in the game.
No, you never talk about the way I set the guy up.
Yeah.
We leave that for training.
Yeah.
And the guys nowadays, they're so infatuated with the game of cricket where it's all about that, you know, it's their lives, you know. I spoke to Ginger and George the other day, and I asked them the question, is cricket your life? Do you just do? And they said they try to get away from it, but it always sort of comes back. But the way that I've been in the dressing room with you guys, it made me realize that cricket wasn't really, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's about the friendships, you know, and connecting with people. And I mean, I always made a point of going to have a beer with the opposition after the game, no matter what the result or what happened on the field. If I had a bit of bad blood with someone, I'd definitely make sure I'd go and have a beer.
And you definitely got stuck into the opposition.
Yeah.
And then
go
that's
and have a beer
part
with them
of you.
afterwards because, I mean, as you know, what happens on the field stays on the field, and afterwards you can have a laugh about it. Mate.
Exactly. But speaking about growing up and your career obviously gone a certain way, there's always one issue that's always been a part of I mean, you speak openly about it, has been your weight and the way that people have obviously treated that. Especially, I told Ginger and George the other, it's the social media era now where people are allowed to come into your lives and say what they want to about, you know. If you get 5 wickets, Rory got 5 wickets, but it's always that, you know. Like that sort of the game has obviously made you stronger, right?
Yeah.
But it does affect you deep down inside.
I would say that probably affected me more when I was playing for South Africa. I learned to deal with it a lot better after that because, I mean, there wasn't that much scrutiny when you're playing domestic cricket and doing well at domestic cricket. People look past that kind of thing. But international, obviously, it's...
No, I know. They look at everything.
Yeah, they look at everything.
They sometimes look at they cut your hair cut. They try and find the weakness out of someone, you know?
And they will expose it, especially the media.
I was about to say, and it's not the players, you know? Obviously, the banter on the field, you know, the Australians, you're probably your favorite opposition, the Australians, they would say stuff, but the media and our supporters would come and say these kind of things.
It's pretty sad, but I mean... Like I said earlier, you got to learn to block that kind of thing out and just get on with it. Really, I mean, I always enjoyed running, so
that is very true. Up in the mountains,
I might not look like an athlete, but I could run and I was strong. I made sure my legs are strong so that I could carry the extra weight.
Exactly.
But yeah, so
because people always thought of you're disrespecting your career in a sense by you know. You know,
that's their fault.
But that's
for me. My main thing was about skill.
Exactly,
sure
and
my skill was important.
And then again, people didn't look at that where you've taken over 500 first class.
Look, I mean,
wickets
there's no doubt that I could have been I could have paid a bit more attention to that side of my game, but that didn't really bother me, to be honest with you. I mean, I could run in and bowl. I mean, I was 35 playing for Northants and I bowled 28 overs in a day, you know.
And you came back here, you still played another couple of 4-day games where...
For me, it wasn't that important. Maybe it should have been. I would have had a longer career. But what's that?
You can be proud of, I mean, of what you did.
Yeah.
And then we go back to something that we always giggle about. 2011, 2012, before you played for South Africa, we were playing in Kimberley, and I was still a youngster, my second year, I think, contracted, and we weren't really friends at the time. We were just really teammates. We're 7-8 years apart. We don't have that sort of connection that we do have now. And then you get called up for a urine test, and back then it was like, they don't do it as often as they do it now, but I never seen you get this agitated.
Frazzled.
Yeah, frazzled, there's the word, at me. Because you come to me and you're like, hey, Piedt, come here. Who the fuck drew my name for the testing? So I was like, bruh, I don't know. So, and then it came out J-Bay. And then all of a sudden, you didn't have your license then yet also. So
really?
Yes, you didn't. And then I dropped you off at your house.
Yeah.
And you got a phone call on I'll never forget this, on your BlackBerry.
Yes.
And you couldn't take a call like this. And JP Van Wyk phoned you.
Yes.
And then that time you were bust for obviously having marijuana in your system, right? And that was probably the darkest time in your career.
Yeah.
But without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember coming to visit you, sitting on the couch. You had to train on your own for 6 months.
Yeah.
You had no income.
Yeah.
You did have an income. Yeah. But that was obviously a turning point in your career.
Yeah, for sure. I'd actually gone through a bit of a tough time because I was playing pretty good cricket, and we played a 4-day game in Kimberley.
Yes.
And I'd just been called up to the national team.
Yes.
To play in an ODI series against Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And in that game, I tore my thigh.
Yes.
Still took 5 wickets.
Just throw it in there.
Just throw that in there.
Ball was whooping all over the place. I remember that.
And pretty much ruled myself out of the ODI squad. But more importantly, we got the win for the
That's the most thing. We definitely had a fight meeting.
Yes, had a massive fight meeting.
Exactly.
And then obviously the realization hit me, my opportunity could be gone here, and I went into a bit of a dark space, and so that came of that, and But like you said, luckily, that was the turning point
in
for
your
me
career,
because 3 months after that, we went on an A tour to, I think it was Ireland. Still one of the best tours I've ever been on.
Played a lot of cricket.
Played a lot of cricket on that tour. But did well there. I think we played Sri Lanka as well at home. Did well against Sri Lanka. And then 6 months later, I made my test debut in Australia.
Yeah. And obviously that's a proud moment.
Yeah.
As we all know, guys that's played for South Africa, your parents and your family and the way you touch them. But
I guess I needed that perspective, just take a step back and reevaluate and reset.
Where are you going with you? Because what you were 20, what were you?
28 to
28,
29.
Yeah, so that's obviously an amazing part of your life, playing for South Africa. Obviously you enjoyed it. Test cricket's fucking hard, you know that.
Yeah.
And then you go to North Ends. You in 2008 you were an overseas or a Colpack player for Hampshire.
Hampshire.
Right? But the question that I've been wanting to ask you, and you'll never answer this when we're sitting at your house, Brian. But now I can ask you, what or how do you impact a team the way you do, right? And I'm not talking about on the field, right? Because that skill and that cricket, that talks for itself. But your personality, how does it affect, or how do you do that for a team? I'm talking about you're sitting in a dressing room and everybody is just around you, the way you just get the team like driving in the right direction. Yeah. You've captained a few times, but the way you tend to get a team driving in the direction, I want to ask you this right now because you've always left a mark at the teams you've gone to.
For me, it's about being myself. I try to be as funny as I can. I'm not that funny.
He's actually quite funny, guys. He's really quite funny.
Yeah, just be myself and make sure that I'm doing my job first and foremost.
Because then you can be funny.
That's where the respect lies, you know. I mean, if you're not doing the business on the field, no one's going to want to spend time with you anyway, you know. I mean, it can become a very lonely place, as I found out in international cricket.
Yeah.
You know? But for me, it is just about being myself, being competitive, always trying to take the positives out of a negative situation.
And the game is never lost, or the game is never drawn in your mind. You're coming.
Try and find a way, you know. Always try and find a way.
Because I've always seen like opposition come into the dressing room, and they tend to be around you. Then you see when you were playing at North Ends, the type of love that you got from especially the local people on Twitter. I'll never get that picture you sent me. The boobs like Pamela Anderson and the arse like who, like something. And I mean, they took you for who you are, and you got appreciated for the cricketer that you are, and that's all you want to be as a cricketer.
Absolutely.
Or
I mean, I always try and add value as much as I can, not only in the change room, on the field, but around and in the environment. So for me, we were lucky at North Ends that the office is right next to the change room.
That's cool. That's a cool
So
setup.
you can connect with everyone, you know, and obviously with the younger kids and them coming out to support us when we're playing blast games, obviously giving back to them, but giving them a signature, having a conversation with them.
And blast is T20 cricket, by the way.
And people kind of respect you for doing that kind of thing, because a lot of guys can say, I'm just going to pack my gears.
Exactly, but you did that well because of your daughter, and you have, and you have a son now that you understand the love you need to give to that kid.
I think for me, growing up, I admired Herschel and Mackay a lot for that. They always gave time to whoever. It can be a homeless person.
And they're still the same today.
They're still the same today, you know. They'll give their time to anyone. And that's how people started loving them as well, you know. Besides the performance.
And you were never for the fame or whatever. It was about respecting that person. Absolutely. Yes, you slightly more skilled than the next person, and that's why you're at the level of playing cricket. But respect that person because they want some love from you.
Absolutely.
And we've spoken about the bonfire at your old house, around a bonfire there in the corner. Your views on getting the university and cricket involved. You're a big believer in the next generation doing the hard graft, but gaining education. right? And we've spoken about how important this is because we didn't have that, where you can integrate the two by, yes, you're not earning money, but it's taken from the way the college sport is in America.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people out there don't know that you have this desire of trying to get this.
Yeah.
You've recently, I beg your pardon, signed for Marty's as a consultant. But can you just elaborate a little bit on what your thoughts are regarding this? And I've always liked this idea that you've had.
So my thoughts are, I just feel like semi-pro cricket, that's amateur cricket or whatever the case may be, is the biggest waste of time and waste of money ever.
And it's coming from a good place.
Yes.
What you're saying, it's coming.
So basically that level is for kids coming out of school, just finishing under 19 cricket and getting into sort of a professional setup and taking their games forward from there. Whereas like I mentioned to you, I've always enjoyed the American model where guys can come out of school, go straight into a university, and Cricket South Africa should pump money into the university, make university cricket your feeder system to the franchises or the provinces or whatever the case may be.
And that can work because
Absolutely.
Your practical side, you already mentioned, you play
Definitely.
the 3-day game over.
You play the 3-day game starting the Friday, and you play a T20 game on the Monday evening, so you can go to classes like they do in the Varsity Cup rugby.
Yeah.
So you can go to your classes during the day on the Monday. It's just maybe the Friday that you're missing out on.
Exactly.
But I mean,
But then the university is integrated, like UWC are integrated with their cricket system by allowing their players to come to play for Western Province, right? But now the universities know.
Yes.
Like if you look at, exactly in America, Zion Williamson was the first round pick last year, but he was there for 1 year, knowing that he needs this platform to elevate his career to being the number one pick. So I think that's an unbelievable way of doing it because we have strong universities in the country that play cricket from Bloemfontein to the Stellenbosch region, to Western Cape,
Tukkies,
to Joburg, to Potchefstroom, all over, which
and it's got good infrastructure.
It's not a far-fetched thing.
It's got great infrastructure, all the facilities are there. It just needs a bit of a touching up, like a couple of upgrades here and there.
Of course.
And I think it will blossom.
But it brings in the fact that you are playing to win a trophy for your university, which makes you a better... Because when we played, we just want to win trophies. We didn't care about anything else.
That's true. But the other thing it does give you is it gives you something to fall back on if you don't become a professional, or if while you're a professional something happens, or you break your arm or whatever the case may be, and you're not able to play. You have something that you can fall back on, and you can play with that freedom. You understand what I'm saying? So the guy who comes out of school, doesn't do anything, he's always playing with a bit of pressure on him because that's what's putting the bread and butter on
Exactly, and that's
table.
what the semi-pro level is at the moment, where guys are, if they lose their contract, where do they go to? And they're 28, 29 years old, and they can't get into university 100%. Because what UWC do, I know, they do a bridging course where they allow their players to do a bridging course and then eventually go into
a varsity,
into the varsity degree, not a diploma, like you say.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, you could also, for those players, you can create academies and then they can study through correspondence, UNISA or whatever the case may be, and study something that they're interested in, whether it's a technical thing or whatever the case may be. And I mean, if they're not, like I said, if they're not able to get into university, there's always that avenue they can go down, and that can be another feeder system into the franchise. You know what I mean? So you've got school, club cricket, academy, varsity,
and then your big domestic cricket.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that is always something that we've always had this debate on it.
The thing is, the model works. I mean, you just have to look at the states and
it works. And cricket can Friday, Saturday, Sunday you play your games. And if you are not, that is your club you're playing for. So you're not missing club cricket in a sense.
Absolutely.
And if you got young players at the club, Victoria that we both at, then we can get them into the university to.
The other thing is with that is, with their degrees, they can, whatever it is they're studying, if there's a sponsor on board that's in the same field that they were in, they can kind of integrate themselves into that company that's associated 100%. With. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there's so many benefits that can come from it. And not a lot of negatives, to be honest with you. So I can't see why we can't go that route. And I think it should be thought of, to be honest.
Yeah. We've recently started a podcast. Guys, spin one around the wicket. Where
we won't tell you what it means just yet.
Yes, we won't. Not yet. We'll eventually get to the point of it's a sports podcast, but something that we do well is we normally when we come to training, when we're playing together, we would speak about sport, and that's what we're basically doing, and it's been fun so far. And we're speaking about the first episode. We spoke about what happened in CSA and what's happening. It's been a crazy time. In our sport that we play, and unfortunately things have gone the way it is. Yes, there are certain individuals that said what they have. The former Proteas, white Proteas, have said what they've said. But in a sense, I wasn't surprised. Do you understand what I'm saying? And people out there, the public were always on the wavelength of, oh, can you believe that he said that? You know, we've played the game, and it's
we played with and against these guys.
We played with and against these, and for us, it's been like, wow, you know, it was a matter of time.
It's so strange, like when it first came up, and you look back at your career at moments where you think to yourself, fuck, did he actually say that? And at that time, you didn't even realize it. You know what I mean? But 10 years later down the line, you think back to it and you're like, fuck, you know, how did he get away with something like that? Or,
exactly.
You understand? So it's,
I mean, you grew up in a like, back then, early 90s, maybe, middle 90s, where Stransky knocked the game out, the drop kick over there. And you went to, I remember the story you told me, went to a prestigious school here in Cape Town. And that was one instance where you were like, wow, we don't have to get into that story, but that was an instance of like, you got to own up to this. And it wasn't even you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even though you were the eldest guy and that were instances in your career that you look back now and think to yourself, did that actually really happen? You know?
Yeah, it's just strange. But I don't know. I don't know how to get it right. I think we probably need to all sit down and have a conversation.
If you had closed doors, they
tough
say
conversation.
It's not going to take a day.
I wouldn't advise they put any alcohol in there because it could end up
can't have Mothercity Liquor coming in here and say, guys, here's a Belgian beer, enjoy yourselves.
It could end up badly, but I think if we want to move forward, we have to sit down. And I think a positive is now that the president has resigned.
It's a positive,
Hopefully the rest of his board will follow suit, because as far as I'm concerned, their 7 years that they've had has been an absolute shambles. They've lost the organization millions, close to $1 billion, really.
Yes.
They've done fuck all for transformation. Like I said in our podcast the other day, the vice president belongs to probably one of the most prestigious clubs in Cape Town.
Basil de Oliveira's come from here.
And has done absolutely nothing for that club. Nothing. They've slipped down the divisions. Their facilities are terrible.
And that facilities
like,
were amazing.
What are you doing? You know, what are you doing? So it's time to get fresh new people. I think we need to look at younger people, you know,
with vibrant. It's play the game.
Vibrant, fresh ideas.
We're not asking for a job, but
no, not at all.
We don't want that. We are just asking to think about. If you're taking, like, for example, 3 games away from the first class setup, how are we making our test team stronger? You know, small things like that. But we'll get into that. Guys, episode 2 is coming out soon. By then it will probably be episode 3 by the time you see this. But you are now retired, happily retired, and you're going into a different phase of your career. And I think this could possibly be the best time of your career, passing on the knowledge of, you know, days in the dirt, as we say on the field. And you've, like I said, you recently signed with Marties to do work there. And a good friend of yours, Ryan Bailey, you've played cricket with and against. So are you looking forward to passing on knowledge, because a lot of people tend to, we've heard cricketers in the past, they've been successful at test level, franchise level, first class level, but they cannot pass on knowledge, and I think you're one of the guys that can do that,
I'm busy doing a couple of courses now just to better myself. I think if I have a bit of a criticism of myself is that I kind of impose myself on people instead of giving them a chance to figure things out for themselves, and I think...
But it's a positive, because your nature is you want this guy to do well. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things I need to obviously learn about the coaching space, but I'm so looking forward to it. I feel like I could probably be a better coach than I was a player. Just because I'm able to connect with people, and I've got a vast knowledge of the game as well.
You've played all over the world.
I am a bit of a badger, as you know.
Yes, a hell of a badger.
I enjoy watching the game and learning about the game, and so for me it's about now passing on all that knowledge and doing it the right way.
Nah, that's amazing. I'd just like to thank you for not only being a quality teammate, but the way our friendship's grown over the years, and I foresee it being a friendship for life, really. I hope we get fat together around once I've retired officially. I hope we get fat together and we can have a braai and talk about, how difficult kids are in the mornings.
My kids will be grown up by the time.
But my kids are running around causing mayhem in your house. But just thank you for the knowledge you've imparted onto my career, where I can take, into where I'm going into America, where I can actually be that driving force for. But like I've said, you had one hell of a career. A lot of people out there have never played for South Africa, never will. And those are the guys, the keyboard warriors that have a lot to say about us. But you've represented everybody very, very well. So it's been a hell of a ride. Great friendship. Let it never ever die out.
Absolutely. I was always looking for an excuse to go to the States, so now I have one. So.
Exactly. Our house in the States will always be open to you and the kids and the wife.
Nice.
But thank you for imparting the knowledge of the game, and I hope your coaching career goes from strength to strength.
Thank you.
Guys, this is the real Rory Kleinveldt, not the guy that nips it all over the place, but he does have views on bettering himself and the game. But it's been one of my better episodes, sitting down and talking to him on camera. And again, thanks to Mothercity Liquor for helping us. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode. Don't forget the links in the bio. Cheers.
Ciao. Cheers.